Hi guys, I'm Zoe Jackson. I set up my business Living the Dream when I was 16 to inspire young people and champion talent. It's a performing arts company and we now have a school, a dance company, a talent agency and a charity. My advice for budding entrepreneurs is to stay passionate about doing good and making a difference. Keeping your values and your integrity at the core of everything that you do is vital to making sure that you can grow your business and change people's lives.
A woman from Hertfordshire has been chosen as one of only 3 people in the UK to receive the first ever Queen's Young Leaders Award. The new award is a partnership between the Queen's Diamond Jubilee Trust and Comic Relief and aims to encourage and support young people who are having an impact in their local communities. Well, Zoe's here now. It looks great fun. Tell us how it all started.
I set up Living the Dream when I was 16 in 2006 to fund my own performing arts training, but also to inspire and empower young people through the arts.
So what sort of difference does it make to young people? As I said, it does look fun, but it's about more than that, isn't it?
Absolutely. The arts have the power to change young people's lives. It gives them the freedom to express themselves, grow in confidence, and really start believing in themselves and their futures.
There was lots in the autumn statement today for small and large businesses. We can talk to Zoe Jackson, the founder and managing director of Living the Dream. Zoe Jackson, Living the Dream. How might what's been announced today impact on your business?
I think in a number of ways. I think my focus is a lot on young people, and the statement about how hard it is for young people to find jobs, I think is something that really needs to be addressed and something that I'm trying to support, and how I believe that creativity and enterprise need to be in the heart of the education system so that young people now can see that setting up a business or becoming self-employed is a viable option.
So tell us more then about what you do and how what we've heard today might help that.
So I've been working with Sir Richard Branson to campaign for the government startup loan scheme, which has now been launched and has supported like 20,000 businesses with £100 million in funding, which is fantastic. But there's a lot more work that needs to be done from the ground up to support those young people and give them the opportunity and the creativity and the confidence to go out there and make their own futures. So I'm going to tell you my story about setting up my business Living the Dream when I was 16. So from a very young age, I loved performing. All I wanted to do was dance and sing and act, and that was my destiny. And when I was 16, I got into a prestigious acting course called the National Youth Theatre, and I needed to raise about £2,000 to do a course. And at the time, I couldn't afford it, and my mum couldn't afford it, and they sent through a letter with some fundraising ideas, car washes, bake sales, and I wanted to do something different. So I decided to put on a show. I got a group of about 30 of my friends that all love to perform to do it with me. And I convinced my head teacher to give me the school's theatre for free for a day. I also decided that I wanted it to be called Living the Dream, because that's what I hoped one day I would be doing with my life. And I also wanted it to be run entirely by young people, because I wanted to prove what we could achieve on our own. The show was a huge success, and we raised double what we needed, and I gave the other half to charity. And I kind of at the time saw it as a one-off fundraising project, and I was going to go back to my A-levels and carry on studying, and that would be that. But the response was overwhelming, and everybody that was in it, everybody that came to see it wanted more. And we kind of realized that we created something really special with this youth-led environment, giving these young people a chance to express themselves, grow in talent, confidence, have fun, and just feel valued and value themselves. So basically, I carried on doing my A-levels and carried on putting on these showcases each year. And I expanded it out in Hertfordshire to support young people and give them affordable access to the arts, because I couldn't afford the expensive training out there growing up. And I was fortunate to receive loads of funding from the council, and I received about £60,000 over 2 years to put on these showcases, but also to pay a team of teenagers, which was wicked. Load of 16-year-olds choreographing, producing, making costumes, doing music, doing lighting, and everybody was incredibly empowered. And then I got into a place called the Liverpool Institute of Performing Arts, which was set up by Paul McCartney, and that was where I did my degree in dance and performing arts. And I kept coming back every summer to work with young people and to put on more Living the Dream shows. So this is where we're at now.
when I finished university, a couple of really exciting things happened. So the first was I decided to write 300 letters to celebrities. I'm kind of known for asking for anything and everything, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. This time I wrote 300 letters, and one letter changed everything. So it's me asking for money, advice, help me, I've got this great idea, I'm so passionate, please support me. And loads of people wrote back, sorry, Stephen Fry is too busy, he supports too many charities, millions and millions of these no letters, feeling pretty gutted about that. And then I will never forget the day that I called my mum in hysterics. Mum, you'll never guess what's happened to me. Severus Snape from Harry Potter wants to have lunch with me. Yeah! So the legendary Alan Rickman took the time to write back, and he was like, "Dear Zoe, I'm really inspired by what you've been doing, and I'd like to take the time to have lunch with you and give you some advice." And his advice was incredible, which I'll come back to later, but that kind of changed everything. But then I was hit with two almighty obstacles. One was that the government decided to, unfortunately, cut arts funding in 2010. So everything we'd received and were promised to receive in the years moving forward was gone, completely gone. And the other, for me personally, was that I had some quite major surgery, which left me kind of knocked out for 6 months, feeling very sorry for myself. So this is a bunch of our kids. They're amazing. They inspire me every day. I was kind of left with this lovely bunch of young people who wanted more, and I didn't really know what to do. I didn't know how to support them, and I needed to think differently. So I was lying on the sofa, and I watched the famous T-Mobile flash mob advert at Liverpool Street Station. So hands up if you've seen that and you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, wicked. So I watched that, and I basically decided I wanted to do a flash mob. Why not? And I wanted to do it for charity. Everybody that was in it didn't get paid, but I picked up the phone to St Pancras International Station in London, pitched the idea, sounded crazy. So how do you feel about 100 dancers rocking up at your station in 2 weeks and doing a flash mob? Please say yes. And they did, and they wanted to promote themselves as a hub for arts and culture, so it really fitted very nicely. So we did it on New Year's Eve in 2010, and you saw the video. And it was a huge success. We raised loads of money for charity, and something weird started happening. The video on YouTube started going viral, and at that point, I didn't really know what that meant. Everyone was like, check out your views, you're up to 2 million, and it was really, really inspirational. But also, it gave me a chance to look at things differently. How was I going to continue living the dream and continue inspiring these amazing young people without any funding? And now the dance company does flash mobs, we perform at events, and we've also started doing team building. And we've been working with Vodafone for the last 2 years, training their global CEOs to street dance, which is hilarious. We've done some amazing things with the dance company. So last year, we were invited to perform for Her Majesty the Queen at Westminster Abbey, which was incredible. I've worked with RBS now, Vodafone. We've done a lot of work with Virgin. We recently did some stuff with John Lewis. So we're working with some big global companies, which is really, really exciting. So I got involved with this group called Virgin Media Pioneers, which is his community for young entrepreneurs. And from that, I basically got selected by him to represent his campaign for the government. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about the startup loan scheme. And basically, that was me and 2 other entrepreneurs and him, and we basically went to David Cameron, lobbied loads of MPs, and pitched this idea, started as young people, that they could apply for a loan at a similar rate to a kind of student loan for setting up your own business. And it kind of evolved and became this monster, and it's like £200 million worth of funding, which is incredible, and it's now for any age. I'm just really honoured to be a part of it. So my journey with Branson, I was invited to speak at a lot of events with him. This is us at Global Entrepreneurship Week, I think 2 years ago in Liverpool. And yeah, we taught him to dance, which was really fun. We performed at a private event for him, which is cool, and I pulled him aside and said, right, you've got to learn to dance, and this is some of our professional dancers and students. And this was at the launch, one of the launches of the Startup Loan Scheme, and that's me with James Calm, Branson and Richard Reed from Innocent. And I kind of was given this amazing platform to talk about entrepreneurship in the UK and what was needed from young people. So you might all remember the riots in 2011, where the cities were burning and young people were being branded as the most unpleasant and potentially violent young people in the world. And I actually saw something quite different, and I saw a lot of young people in trouble and crying out for their voices to be heard. So I decided to do something, and I turned Living the Dream's activities and basically created a registered charity. And it started off with a campaign called I Have a Dream, inspired by Martin Luther King's speech, which was something that really kind of inspired me from a young age. And we put on a show. It was looking at the images, challenging the negative images of young people in the media, looking at the issues that they face, but also, more importantly, the dreams that they have and celebrating that. I've had so many pieces of advice about just really seriously believing that anything is possible, because it is. It really, really is. And that is what we continue to push onto all of the students that we've got and the dancers, and doing it through dance, but also for me through business and inspiring people about my story, and that you guys can achieve anything that you want. So the quote with Richard Branson, do good, have fun, and the business will come, is something that really sticks with me, because that's exactly what I did. I raised money for charity, I had a wicked time dancing in a flash mob, and then suddenly people were on the phone and they wanted to work with us. And I really believe that every person and business has this moral obligation to make a difference. And I think moving forward, if you can at least remember that and do as much as you can to give back, that would be incredible, because we're all in this together. And then the last thing I wanted to say is about believing in yourself. And it's easier said than done, but the belief that you have in yourself and your idea or your business is kind of the most precious thing that you've got. And it will make people remember you. And it gives you this purpose, and kind of allowing yourself to define why you're on this earth and why you do what you do may take people a long time to figure it out, but once you do, it's really cool. I mean, I know now that I'm here to inspire young people and champion talent and empower disadvantaged kids, inspiring audiences. I know now what I've got to do, and I'm on a mission to achieve it.
Hi Zoe, an absolutely brilliant, I just can't put into words how inspiring you are probably to so many people here, so congratulations on what you've achieved. It's incredible. Who would you say has inspired and motivated you from a personal perspective?
A few different people. One, my mum, who was kind of my cheerleader from a young age and really just gave me this opportunity to be like, Zoe, you can do anything you want, anything is possible. And it kind of ended up with me exploring enterprise. I think when I was like 8, I made a cafe at home, called it Zoe's Cafe, and sold my mum breakfast every morning. It was sweet. It was really cool. So yeah, she was a really big inspiration. But then just generally seeing role models as actors and people like Martin Luther King, Oprah Winfrey, people that kind of come from a struggle and selflessly helped others in any way that they can, they're the ones that kind of had a big impact.
Thanks for your talk. It can be very scary starting a business, and we get all the doubts in our heads and all the negative thoughts. What's your advice to people today in this audience who've started a business or are thinking about starting a business on how they deal with that fear?
So I'm scared basically every day, and it's something that you can learn to deal with and to overcome, and I would just ask you to get support, because that's how I've done it. Surround yourself with people that believe in you and believe that you can achieve great things, and they're the ones to pull you back out and say, don't be scared, you can do it. So you kind of got to get a group of cheerleaders behind you. That's what I'd say.